What's up, everyone? Welcome to the FAA podcast. Preseason week one in the books. We got another great slate of preseason football coming up this weekend. But today we're going to recap all the week one games and then give you our thoughts on some of the NFL news, some of the signings that are going on. And then we'll preview the one Thursday night game that we have for preseason week two this week. Logan will be on shortly, but let's get it started here with preseason week one. On Thursday, we had the Steelers beating up on the Bucks in Tampa 27-7, or Friday. This is Friday. 27-17 for the Pittsburgh win. Kenny Pickett looked absolutely fantastic. I was so hyped. He only had one drive, but it was a touchdown, 30-yard touchdown to George Pickens, 33-yard touchdown on his only target. It was great to see the connection between Pickett and Deontay Johnson. Definitely not going to go scoreless this year is Deontay, I would have to think. But, yeah, loved what I saw from the first team offense. Mitch Trubisky struggled a bunch. The offensive line wasn't holding up well after Pickett left the game. But Mason Rudolph actually looked pretty good. 7 of 12 for him, 58.3%, 132 yards, a touchdown, 2 carries, 15 yards. Trubisky, like I said, 1 for 4, 25%, 10 yards and a pick. And then Pickett, like I mentioned, was stellar, 6 of 7, 85.7%, 70 yards and a touchdown. And then lastly for Pittsburgh, the undrafted rookie out of Minnesota, Tanner Morgan, came in at the end, went 5 of 8, 62.5%, 36 yards and a pick. But overall, like I said, the Steelers offense looked fantastic for the first stringers. Granted, it was against the Bucks, but the Bucks are still a pretty solid defensive team. So I liked what I saw there. For Tampa on offense, though, Baker Mayfield got the start, was very efficient, and eventually led them to a touchdown on his second or third drive. I can't remember which one it was. But 8 of 9 for Baker, 88.9%, 63 yards and a touchdown. Kyle Trask did not look the greatest. 6 of 10, 60%, 99 yards and a pick. Yeah, so the battle will continue there in Tampa. John Wolford came in at the end and actually looked the best out of all three of the quarterbacks, probably comfortability wise in this offense. 10 of 17, 58.8%, 111 yards and a touchdown for Wolford. But right now, I would have to say Baker has the leg up in this competition. Trask will get the start this coming weekend. So we'll see what he can do with the starters against the starters of the other team. But I would say Baker is the lead dog right now. Not a lot going on in the ground game for this one. 18 yards was the leading ball carrier, Chase Edmonds for Tampa, Anthony McFarland Jr. for the Steelers. They tied at 18 yards. Edmonds, 6 carries, 18 yards. 1 catch for 4 yards. McFarland, 3 carries, 18 yards, a touchdown, and 1 catch for 5 yards. Calvin Austin had the play of the night, though. Calvin Austin, the third for the second-year guy for the Steelers out of Memphis. 2 catches, 73-yard and a touchdown. It was a 65-yard bomb, I believe, from Mason Rudolph on 4 targets. 2 carries for 23 yards. Also was excellent in the jet sweep game on those 2 carries. So look for Matt Canada's offense to do more of that this year with Austin getting involved. You had the rookie out of Nebraska, 6th rounder, Trey Palmer, 5th rounder, Trey Palmer. My diamond of the draft there. I loved him in the 3rd round, ended up going on day 3. But Trey Palmer caught a touchdown, a spectacular touchdown to that, tapping the toes in the end zone. 4 catches, 33 yards a score on 4 targets. Mentioned Pickens caught his only ball for a 33-yard touchdown. And then Payne Durham, tight end out of Purdue for the Bucks, caught his one of his 2 targets for a 3-yard touchdown reception. Defensive player of the game has to be my guy, and Logan's guy too when he comes on. Rookie linebacker Nick Herbig for the Steelers out of Wisconsin, 4th round draft pick. I believe 3 tackles, 1 solo, 1.5 sacks, 1 tackle for loss, 2 QB hits. Herbig was stellar against the 4th rounder. Yeah, was stellar against the Bucks tackles, and it really was not a great thing for Tampa that Luke Goedeke struggled mightily against the rookie, because they're expecting him to fight and even be that right tackle on day 1. So we'll see. We'll see how Goedeke plays throughout the rest of the preseason, but negative check mark for him on the first game. 2 pluses for Nick Herbig on his first game in the NFL. Super hyped to have him in the pass rush rotation with TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith. The Steelers covered -2 easily over 39. And the Packers, perfect timing for Logan here with his Packers getting up next. Did you have anything on the Steelers game before we get to your Packers here?
No, not much. I saw Kenny Pickett was kind of dicing it up. I saw that really good play to George Pickens. I'm excited. I'm excited for you and your Steelers this year. I think they have a pretty fun group on offense. Hopefully that O-line is improved. I think they have all the weapons that they need for Kenny to succeed. So good to see them getting off on the right foot.
Yeah, and I mentioned at the end there, your guy, rookie 4th rounder out of Wisconsin, Nick Herbig, sliced up Luke Goedeke in that game to the tune of 1.5 sacks.
Yep, and his teammate Keanu Benton too had a pretty good game as well. I saw on Twitter someone made a cut up. He disrupted a few plays at the line of scrimmage. So, dude, the Badger to Steeler pipeline, we've been talking about it. It's good. It's good, man.
All right. And also on that one, Baker, I said Baker looks to have the leg up right now in that QB competition, but Trask getting the start this coming weekend. So we'll see how he does with the ones. Our guy, Danny Potter, chiming in here as we get into the Packers game. Emmanuel Wilson will be a starting running back in a year or 2. All right. And Jordan Lowe will be a top 5 QB in the league in a year or 2. Sure, Danny.
There we go.
But yeah, the Packers here rolling the Bengals 36-19 in Cincinnati. Before we get to this game, Joe Burrow looked really good, warming up in this one. So all signs point to he'll be ready for week 1. He was running some sprints and also throwing 50-yard bombs. So looks okay, Bengals fans. It'll be all right week 1. He'll be there, I expect. But for this one, yeah, Jordan Love and the starters got in this game. 7 of 10, 70%, 46 yards, touchdown. He played 2 drives, 3 drives,
2 drives. Yep.
2. Okay. Yeah. So, but yeah, it looks pretty good. And I'll mention before you go, my guy, Penn State rookie 5th rounder Sean Clifford, 20 of 26, 76.9%, 208 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, 2 carries, 27 yards. Looked excellent despite the 2 interceptions there on the line.
Yeah. I mean, I was obviously super happy with the QB play in this game. The first series was a little rough for the O. J Love missed that one throw across the middle to a wide open Musgrave. Had to have that, but then I think they shook it off, and he led that touchdown drive, which was really smooth. He did what he was supposed to do and just kind of keeping the offense on schedule. I thought the throw he had to Dubs before the touchdown was really good, where he fitted in between those two defenders. And Romeo Dubs, man, I can't say enough about him. I mean, that was veteran route running there, because you saw him kind of sit down in his route in between those defenders. And hopefully that chemistry just continues to build. It's going to be huge. And yeah, man, all signs have been that Sean Clifford is exceeding expectations for the Packers. During the pre-draft process, Clifford was a guy that so many people had undrafted grades on. I know that when he was taken by the Packers, a lot of people were surprised. But the buzz out of training camp has been that he looks the part. And you saw that in this game. One of those interceptions, the pick six, I'm not even going to put on him because, obviously it was a poor decision, but Sean Ryan got absolutely beat. I think it might have been Jay Tufele. One of the Bengals D linemen just absolutely put Sean Ryan in a blender. So Clifford had somebody coming in on him hot when he threw that. But yeah, I mean, he was just playing out of his mind, man. No checkdowns for Sean in this game. It was all pushing the ball downfield.
Yeah, and also on the pick six, the receiver didn't help either. Yeah. The receiver didn't come back to the ball, so take that one off the board pretty much. For the Bengals quarterback play, kind of uninspiring to say the least, and it was interesting. Jake Browning got the start in this one. I did not expect that. I thought Trevor Siemian would be the starter, being the presumptive number 2 behind Burrow. But apparently there's a real competition now, because Jake Browning didn't play terribly. 10 of 17, 58.8%, 95 yards a pick. Siemian, 15 of 28, 53.6%, 121 yards and a pick. So both have an interception. Neither have a touchdown. So I don't think there's much clarity right now. Luckily, I think this is the good part of not having Burrow in at practice anymore right now, is that more snaps for Browning and Siemian to figure this thing out.
Yeah, the Bengals could definitely stand to develop that QB2 position.
Running wise, like Danny mentioned, Emmanuel Wilson, I have no clue who this kid was coming into this game. 6 carries, though, 111 yards. That's 18.5 per carry. 2 touchdowns, no receptions, though. So he was definitely the star of the game, for sure, especially once the Packers had the lead and ran into the second half. He was a beast.
Yeah, he was, dude. I saw on Twitter, I think it was Mike Renner, formerly from PFF. He did a cut up where he joked. He admitted he had never gotten to the Grand Valley State tape during the
Fort Valley
draft
State
process. Yeah, and but he said, this obviously was a really great game for Wilson, and that RB3 spot is wide open. I think the guy who has the advantage, just based on Brian Gutekunst's record, is he likes to hang on to his draft picks. So I think Lou Nichols, the rookie out of Central Michigan, still has a leg up in that regard. But the Packers love Patrick Taylor. He's been kept around for the last 3-4 seasons in some kind of capacity. And Wilson, man, if he just keeps pushing. So that RB3 spot is definitely still up for grabs.
Yeah. Tyler Goodson scoring a touchdown there for the Packers as well. Chris Evans had a good game for Cincy, leading them in rushing, 7 carries, 49 yards. Leading receiver in this one, another rookie, Dontavian Wicks. What was he, 4th round out
Yep.
of Virginia? 3 catches, 68 yards on 4 targets. How about another rookie, the Princeton kid, a 6th rounder for the Bengals, 4 catches, 50 yards, 10 targets in a preseason game. That's getting some work in, even though he only caught 40%. But and then, like I said, like we mentioned, Dobbs had the touchdown, and then tight end Tyler Davis caught a touchdown as well from Sean Clifford. Defensive player of the game has to go to Bengals second-year guy, safety Tyson Anderson. 3 tackles, 2 solos, 2 pass selections, 2 picks, and the 43-yard pick 6 there. But Carrington Valentine also nice game for Packers.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Green Bay covered -4 over 35 by themselves. Let's go to a low-scoring game. The Falcons 19-3 win in Miami. Interesting approach for Atlanta. Logan Woodside played the entire game. I didn't expect that at all. I expected, being a young quarterback in a second year, Desmond Ridder would get some run. And then I don't even know who's their backup. Taylor Heineke didn't play either. So that was interesting. But yeah, Woodside played pretty well, 14-23. 60.9%, 146 yards. This game was only low scoring because of lack of 4th down conversions. There were 3 instances, I believe, inside the opponent's 10-yard line that neither team could convert. So could have been a lot more points, and I needed a lot more points because I had the over, which did not work. But for Miami, they have an issue. They need to look on the veteran quarterback market right now, because it's the same 2 guys from last year that were backing up to 2 of the 3. Teddy Bridgewater now in Detroit, but same 2 guys, Skylar Thompson, Mike White, neither played well at all. Skylar Thompson, 10 of 16, 62.5%, 104 yards, 2 picks, 2 carries, 10 yards, and a fumble. White had 9 of 14, 64.3%, 85 yards, and a pick. So, I mean, they got to look. They got to look somewhere.
Well, especially because of Tua's injury history and the types of injuries he's sustained suggests that it's unfortunately a matter of when, not if, So you kind of have to plan and make those contingencies. You need a guy as your QB2 who's at least going to maybe get you to win a game or 2 if Tua has to miss multiple weeks, with something. Yeah.
Can we get Fitzmagic out of retirement? Well, just looking at what Spot Track has in terms of free agents available, Carson Wentz would probably be the top guy. Joe Flacco, he didn't officially retire, right?
I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything about it.
I don't think so. So it'd be probably Carson Wentz or Nick Foles would be the top 2 available.
That's kind of ironic.
At this point. I know. I know Wentz was he has some interest, I believe, from a couple teams currently, but unsigned yet. Anyways, for the Falcons, Godwin Igwebuike led the game in rushing, 13 carries, 70 yards, a touchdown. Myles Gaskin, pretty nice game for him. Your guy, Devon Achane led the Dolphins in receiving, 10 carries, 25 yards. Not great on the ground, but 4 catches, 41 yards.
Yeah, it's good to see. He might have some receiving role early on, but hopefully he can start to develop a little bit more in between the tackles.
He must have changed his name because when I looked at it on ESPN, I don't remember ever being a apostrophe capital V. I thought it was just one with a lowercase v. Falcons wide receiver Xavier Malone led the game in receiving, 2 catches, 50 yards on 2 targets, and then a whole host of defensive players having great games. 2 guys I'll mention here. Falcons corner Breon Borders, 5 tackles, 2 solos, 1 tackle for loss, 3 pass deflections, 26-yard pick 6. And then the guy that sealed the Falcons live spread for me, corner D. Alford, 1 pass deflection, 79-yard punt return touchdown. How crazy were the special teams this weekend? There were 3 punt return touchdowns in preseason week 1. It was ridiculous. But I also want to mention tight end Elijah Higgins, my guy. 2 catches, 36 yards on 3 targets. The Dolphins are known for not using tight ends in their offense. At least that's what Mike Gesicki thought. But like I said, when we talked the Dolphins draft, Elijah Higgins, wide receiver convert to tight end, has a great opportunity to move all the way up the depth chart in front of the non-playmakers, I will call them, because they're not great receivers on the Dolphins tight end depth chart. But Elijah Higgins, I'm telling you, watch him this preseason for Miami. Falcons +2, win outright, under 36.5. Lions winning at home against the Giants, 21-16. Back and forth affair. I didn't really watch this one, but Nate Sudfeld got the start for Detroit, 15 of 28, 53.6%, 194, two picks. Adrian Martinez came in for him at the end, 4 of 7, 57.1%, 37 yards, 5 carries, 14 yards, and the game-winning rushing touchdown for Adrian Martinez, rookie out of K-State. And Tyrod Taylor got the start for the G-Men, 3 of 4, 75%, 7 yards. Tommy DeVito played most of the game, though, 15 of 24, 62.5%, 155, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 4 carries, 11 yards for the rookie out of Syracuse. So, yeah, like I said, I didn't get to really watch this one. I was watching other games. But that's the quarterback play anyways. Giants running back Jashaun Corbin led the game in rushing, 3 carries, 40 yards, 1 catch for -3 yards. Lions wide receiver Chase Cota led the game in receiving, 4 catches, 60 yards on 7 targets. Good workload for him. Giants tight end Tommy Sweeney caught a 14-yard touchdown on his only target. And then the second punt return of the weekend, Lions wide receiver Maurice Alexander caught 1 catch for 7 yards on 3 targets. 95-yard punt return touchdown. That's bold to catch it on the 5. And then defensively for this game, I got to go with the Aquara brothers as a whole. Julian Aquara, though, specifically for the Lions, 3 tackles, all of them solos. They were 3 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, 3 QB hits. And his brother there, 2 tackles, 1 solo, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, 2 QB hits. So excellent week 1 game for the Aquara brothers in Detroit.
Yeah, the Acquire household combining for 4 sacks, 4 tackles for loss, and 5 QB hits. It's a pretty good day at the office.
Yeah. Well, that's what they've been looking for. They've been looking for extra rushers, someone outside of Hutchinson and James Houston there. So, the Lions cover is a pick'em game, and over 35.5. How about the Commanders getting it done 17-15 at home over the Browns? Both teams' starters got to play in this one. So, again, this was a game that I didn't get a chance to watch. But Sam Howell, pretty good. 9 of 12, 75%, 77 yards, touchdown. After him, it was Jacoby Brissett, 6 of 10, 60%, 75 yards. A pick, 2 carries, 16 yards, and a touchdown. And then Jake Fromm, my guy, came in at the end for cleanup duty, 5 of 7, 71.4%, 26 yards, a pick. So yeah, the Washington offense, from what I heard, looked pretty good with Mr. Howell at the helm.
Yeah. Washington is one of those teams that I'm really excited to watch, like, this year, because Sam Howell's in a great position, and if he's even just like decent, average to above average, they have the weapons in place to where this could be a fun offense. If Eric Bieniemy can kind of draw it up. So yeah, I'm excited to keep my eye on that.
And for Cleveland, I heard Deshaun Watson did not look that great, despite the 100% completion, 3 of 3, 12 yards, 3 carries for 20 yards. The legs apparently looked good, but I heard it was not that great for him and the starters. After him, it was Josh Dobbs, 8 of 16, 50%, 77 yards, a pick, 3 carries, 11 yards. And then I don't know which one came in first. If it was like the Hall of Fame game, Kellen Mond came in first. 7 of 12, 58.3%, 79 yards, touchdown, 3 carries, 16 yards. But of course, DTR, I mean, he lit it up again. 9 of 10, 90%, 102 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 carries, 11 yards. I mean, he's definitely beating Mond out right now.
Yeah. And I think that's the likely outcome. Them spending like a fourth on him? Fifth. Yeah. To me, that's still high enough to where he's close to a lock to make the team. And with how he's playing, he's really solidifying himself.
Yeah, and it's interesting as a whole in the NFL. We always talk about at the draft age of quarterbacks, right? People don't want to draft the old dudes like Stetson Bennett. DTR is 25. And who was another one? Sean Clifford. Also, I think 25. So they don't want to draft the old guys, but look who's lighting it up right now. All the old dudes, all the old rookie quarterbacks. So just the thing to keep in mind, people. Running wise here, running back Chris Rodriguez Jr. out of Kentucky. He led the game in rushing, 5 carries, 39 yards. Demetric Felton had another good game for Cleveland, just under 4 yards per carry there. And another guy coming over from the Hall of Fame game, Austin Watkins Jr., the former Birmingham Stallion. Again, great game for him. 6 catches, 71 yards on 8 targets, led the game in receiving, caught a touchdown last week at the Hall of Fame game. You had second-year man David Bell catching a touchdown on 4 targets. Newcomer, former Chiefs wide receiver Byron Pringle led the Commanders in receiving on his only catch for 32 yards, 2 targets there. My guy Jahan Dotson, second-year man out of Penn State, catching a touchdown on 2 targets there. And then you had Browns wide receiver Mike Harley Jr. also catching a touchdown on 3 targets. And defensively, I got to go with the Browns safety Ronnie Hickman Jr., 5 tackles, 2 pass deflections, 2 picks. So solid day for the Ohio State Buckeye there. I believe Ohio State, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just want to make sure. All right. The Commanders +3, they went outright under 37.5. And this is preseason. Look how many teams covered or won outright as underdogs. It's kind of crazy. Including this one. The Cardinals beating the Broncos 18-17 in Arizona. Colt McCoy getting the start for Arizona, as we expect to be week 1 as well. Just like Deshaun Watson, though, 4 for 4, 100%, great for you, but only 17 yards. It wasn't very good. I was listening to this game, so I wasn't able to see it, actually, but listening-wise, I caught some stuff, including the play of Clayton Tune, who was pretty decent in his rookie preseason debut. 13-23, 56.5%, 135 yards, a touchdown, and a pick for the 5th round QB out of Houston. And then David Blau came in at the end for the Cards, 8-14, 57.1%, 86 yards, a touchdown. So how it sounded like Tune was up and down, most of the night. But from what I've heard, the Cardinals absolutely love him.
Yeah. I think right now for the Cardinals, it's just all about finding who's going to be steering the ship while Kyler's gone for the beginning, at least the beginning half of this season. And I mean, if I was them, I'd just you really have nothing to lose. So I mean, I would go with Clayton Tune and just see what happens. See what he's got.
Well, they have to have at least the look of trying to win. We can't.
I mean, obviously, if he goes out there and he can't complete a forward pass, but I don't know. What you have in Colt McCoy. It's just I'd see if you really have something there with Tune.
Yeah, and then as far as Denver's quarterbacks go, Sean Payton was not happy at all. Russell Wilson and the starters played the entire first quarter, I believe.
I think it was more. He was playing into the second.
Yeah. Wilson went 7 of 13, 53.8%, 93 yards. And finally, I think it was the 4th drive for Denver. Wilson finally threw the touchdown to Jerry Jeudy, and then they were off. But yeah, it's not pretty. Again, kind of looking the same as they did last year for the starting Broncos offense. We'll see, though. We'll see if they can improve as the preseason goes on. Jarrett Stidham came in after him, 5 of 15, 33.3%, 50 yards and a pick, 2 carries, 19 yards. So not the greatest. And then Ben DiNucci finished it off, 7 of 9, 77.8%, 57 yards there. So, yeah, Broncos got a lot to figure out still on offense in this new offense that they're learning. Cardinals running back Tyson Williams, he led the game in rushing, 10 carries, 51 yards. New Broncos Samaje Perine led them in rushing, 6 carries, 26 yards. Jaleel McLaughlin had a rushing touchdown for Denver. For the Cardinals, wide receiver Daniel Arias, he led the game in receiving, 3 catches, 49 yards on 5 targets. He's a rookie out of Colorado, undrafted out of Colorado. He's another guy that they were mentioning on the broadcast that has apparently been very good in Cardinals camp so far. Mentioned Jerry Jeudy caught the touchdown on his 3 targets. Brian Cobbs and the USFL kid former Michigan Panther wide receiver Caden Davis. They both caught touchdowns on 3 targets as well. And then defensively, got to go with the Broncos defensive tackle Elijah Garcia. 3 tackles, all of them solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 2 QB hits. So, yeah. And it was great. It was great at the end. David Blau led them to a game-winning touchdown and a game-winning 2-point conversion, which was cool to see at the end. The Cardinals +5. They went outright under 37.5. Let's go to Saturday's games. The Bills beating the Colts 23-19 in Buffalo. No Josh Allen, but Kyle Allen got the start for the Bills. 8 of 15, 53.3%, 122, 1 pick. Matt Barkley came in at the end and looked excellent. 14 of 15, 93.3%, 172, 2 touchdowns. So I don't know if they're actually having a battle in Buffalo or not for that second spot, because Kyle Allen is a newcomer, I believe. I don't think, or maybe this is second year with Buffalo. I can't remember. No, yeah, coming over from the Texans this year. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're actually having a bona fide battle for QB2 spot or not. But Barkley played a lot better in this one, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Colts, of course, number 4 overall pick. Anthony Richardson got the start in this one, 7 of 12, 58.3%, 67 yards a pick. And it was a pick 6. So, you know, but that's how all 3 of the top picks, top quarterbacks were this weekend. It wasn't the prettiest of debuts for any of those 3.
Mm-hmm.
Gardner Minshew then came in, was perfect, 6 of 6, 72%, 72 yards. Sam Ellinger finished it off, 8 of 9, 88.9%, 72 yards, 2 carries, 10 yards there. So, again, I didn't watch this one. I was working, so, but Anthony Richardson, you know, still got a lot of work to do.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, and I was surprised to see that they named him the starter. Either was that yesterday or today.
Today, just giving out our news segment.
Which, you know, it's interesting to kind of, and I think Jordan Reed posted, if I remember, somebody posted kind of asking about people's thoughts on, you know, when should QBs start? You know, is it on the job? Is it sitting a year? Is it more? And, you know, I think it all depends on the player. And, you know, I think right now I trust Shane Steichen to be like, look, this guy's only going to get better if we get him some more on-the-job training. It makes sense because he really didn't get all that much game development at Florida. So, yeah, I mean, the Colts are another team where it's going to be very interesting to see kind of how that develops.
Yeah, I don't agree with it. Granted, I was in the boat that he shouldn't have even came out this year after only 13 games. So I think, and the thing is that the biggest issue that I have is that you can't take it back. Like you can't pull him in the middle of the season if you know you start out like 2-4 or 2-5.
Yep.
You can't just pull him and put Gardner Minshew in. That'll completely wreck his confidence. So I would have rather you just started with Minshew, and then if Richardson clearly outplays or Minshew clearly doesn't play, and then you start out the 2-4, 2-5, insert Richardson, then I think at that point it would give your team a boost, a jolt, as usually when you switch quarterbacks it does. So
Yep.
I think that would have been the better play.
This move for the Colts, they definitely, hopefully, understand that they need to roll with the bad just as much as they do with the good, because you're going to get both, I think, while Richardson continues to develop. And, I think that's an okay strategy as long as you're good with that this season. You look at the roster, you're probably not going to be competing in the South very much. So to understand that and to just be like, look, we need this evaluation time for Richardson, then that's fine. But if it is like how you said, to where if he struggles the first month or so, they yank him, it can get messy. So it's going to be interesting to keep an eye on.
Yeah, and I would probably say that they're not going to have a running back there either.
Yeah.
But, we'll see. We'll see how that situation.
That's a whole other mess.
The running back that they did have that led the game in rushing here, Deion Jackson, 6 carries, 35 yards for Indy. James Cook scored a touchdown for Buffalo, 4 carries, 20 yards in the score. My guy, I love Jake Funk, man. Jake Funk's got a great opportunity right now with JT not practicing, Zach Moss out with the injury. And didn't they have just another running back recently sprain a knee or something like that? I don't remember. But, yeah, Jake Funk, man, scoring a touchdown, 7 carries, 13 yards, a touchdown, 2 catches for 10 yards. And the new guy, Jason Huntley, literally just signed this past week, scoring a touchdown in his preseason debut with Indy. So they did get some production out of the running backs in this one anyways. Colts wide receiver Malik Turner, he led the game in receiving, 4 catches, 48 yards on 4 targets. You had Tyrell Shavers and Desmond Patman catching touchdowns for the Bills. And my defensive player of the game is going to go to Colts rookie corner Darius Rush out of South Carolina. 1 pass deflection, 52-yard pick 6. Yeah, off of Kyle Allen. And I misspoke. The pick on Richardson wasn't a pick 6. Or else it would have been up here. Unless I missed it. But I don't think it was. Anyways, the Bills plus 3.5. They win outright, and over 36.5. The Bears getting the win 23-17 in Chicago. And how about Justin Fields? The offense works. Granted, it was 2 catch and runs, but 3 of 3, 129 yards, 2 touchdowns, perfect passer rating. Doesn't get much better than that. And after him, it was P.J. Walker, 4 of 8, 50%, 19 yards and a pick. Nathan Peterman, after him, 4 of 6, 66.7%, 58 yards. And Mark's guy, rookie undrafted free agent out of Shepherd, Tyson Bagent, 4 of 5, 80%, 37 yards. Not terrible. But the story of this one was Justin Fields and the starting offense.
Yep, this is as positive an outlook or a take as you're going to get from a Packer fan. Is that I think the Bears' first team looked good because it did objectively. There was a Twitter beef between Packers Twitter and Bears Twitter about air yards, and I was sitting there just like, look, man, if Jordan Love threw a screen that went 70 yards, we'd be talking about how great it was too. You know what I mean? It just is what it is. And if he does it next week, now we can't talk about that on Twitter because we had to talk about air yards and all that. But, this is exactly what them getting DJ Moore hopefully does for Justin Fields' development so that he doesn't have to play so much hero ball and that he can operate within the structure of an offense. So it was our first look. It went off without a hitch for the Bears. And, we'll see if they can continue to build on that.
Yeah, DJ Moore, the first touchdown, 62 yards to the house. Khalil Herbert, the other touchdown, 4 carries, 15 yards, and a 56-yard receiving touchdown. That was a little dump off and a catch and run as well. Before we switch to the Titans, your thoughts on the Bears switching their primary logo to the bear head?
It's weird. But I've always liked the bear head logo anyways. I felt like the C's kind of lame. Like, for whatever reason, I've just always felt it's just kind of, lame. And somebody else pointed out, and now I can't unsee it, is that the C isn't symmetrical. So, like, the little tail end of the C doesn't match up with, like, the two other ends of the C, if you can kind of picture that. And now I can't unsee it, and it's, like, the worst. So, like, I don't really know it, because the helmets are still going to be the C, right?
Yeah, I believe, yeah.
Right. So I don't know if it really matters.
I'm a traditionalist. I like the C. I like it better. Yeah. But moving on to the Titans quarterback play. No Ryan Tannehill in this one. So we got to see the second-year guy, Malik Willis, rookie, second rounder, Will Levis. And neither played very well. Malik Willis, 16 of 25, 64%, 189, 1 pick, 3 carries, 22 yards, a touchdown, and a fumble. Will Levis, 9 of 14, 64.3%, 85 yards, and a pick. And there was one point in this game where the teams combined to go 3 straight plays, 3 straight turnovers, including 2 of the 3 were from Tennessee. And it was weird, too, in this game because Vrabel had them flipping series. So every series, it was a new quarterback. So I don't really like that. It's hard to get your rhythm down. And I don't know if that was the biggest factor in why they both struggled. But, yeah, it wasn't a great day for either guy.
Yeah. And, maybe he felt they needed an added bit of adversity, and maybe that's why you do it. But I'm with you. Like, I'd rather just be able to see them. We talked about it with the Packers. Love came out. That first drive was shaky, missed that throw. Second drive, he came back. Offense was in rhythm. They answered. I think there's something to be said about getting in a rhythm, especially for young quarterbacks. So, yeah, I just hope the Titans realize that they have 2 potentially really talented guys, but they're developmental prospects, and you have to develop them, and that might take multiple seasons. So I think patience is really the key there. We'll see how they do the rest of the preseason.
Yeah, I will say, for what I watched, I listened to most of this game too. But from what I heard, Malik Willis, definitely better than last year, for sure. So that's at least a good thing. Leading the game in rushing here was Titans running back Julius Chestnut, 7 carries, 46 yards, 2 catches, 15 yards. Guy I love, Rashawn Johnson, rookie, 4th rounder out of Texas, for the Bears, 12 carries, 44 yards, 3 catches, 2 yards. Please, dear Lord, let Rashawn Johnson win the running back job for Chicago.
For all your dynasty needs.
Yeah. Well, the best ball, too. Best ball. I have him in, I think, 2 of my 3 drafts. I got him. But, yeah, I mentioned Herbert catching that long touchdown there. And Hassan Haskins scoring a touchdown for the Titans. Also mentioned the DJ Moore touchdown. And defensively, probably I'm going to go with the guy at the bottom there. Bears linebacker Jalen Harris, 2 tackles, 1 solo, 1.5 sacks, 3 QB hits. and he is a rookie, undrafted out of Arizona. So good for him. Good first game. 6'4", 257. So, and again, Bears need it. They are looking sorely for any help now that they have Yannick Ngakoue. Still need more at the outside linebacker spot. So maybe Harris can make the team. But other than him, the Bears defense overall played very well this game. The rookie corner there led the game in tackles. Tyreek Stevenson was all over. 7 tackles, all of them solos and a pass deflection. He had great coverage all day. Wasn't afraid to tackle. Travis Gibson also was in there for a sack, 3 QB hits. Terrell Lewis was fantastic, had 2 sacks. And I think they sacked Tennessee 8 times in this game. And then the only guy I didn't mention down there on defense, Caleb Murphy. I don't know if you know about him, Logan. Undrafted out of Ferris State for the Titans. Had a sack, 1 tackle for loss, 1 QB hit. He set the all-time NCAA record for a season in sacks, 25 and a half last year.
Jeez.
At Ferris State. So just like the Titans, just like the Bears, the Titans also looking for help at outside linebacker with the pass rush. So Murphy, really a guy that I think could possibly make the team there for Tennessee. The Bears covered -3.5 over 36.5. Yeah, I don't want to talk about this game. The Jets blanking the Panthers 27-0 in Charlotte. Bryce Young, I was super hyped to watch Bryce Young. Unfortunately for him, the offensive line got demolished all game. It didn't matter what level of players the Jets were bringing out, first, second, third, fourth string. The defensive line was winning all day. But for Bryce Young, 4 of 6, 66.7%, 21 yards. Wasn't the greatest, but the biggest thing got checked was that he got hit a couple times hard. They blasted him a couple times, and he got up. So that was the biggest thing that many people were looking for. I know especially Peter Schrager was looking for that. So happy to see him get out of this game. And then Matt Corral, he was the other quarterback in this one. No Andy Dalton playing. But Corral, 15 of 22, 68.2%, 126 yards a pick, and a fumble. Like I said, the offensive line didn't help him at all. And Corral still kind of feels like a rookie because he was injured in training camp last year. Liz Frank injury, didn't even get the practice or do anything really his entire rookie year last year. So still a lot to learn in his first full off season there in Carolina. But yeah, it was a struggle for the Panthers offense.
Yeah. It seemed like they kind of handled it similarly to how Houston did with Stroud, where the O-line was getting eaten up. And, it's the first preseason game. You don't want to risk any sort of injury to your QB. So I think it was a smart play. Hopefully they'll kind of ramp it up in terms of the reps here, I think, over the next couple preseason games, and we'll get to see a little bit more Bryce Young in action.
Yeah. And for the Jets, no Aaron Rodgers again. So Zach Wilson played excellent. I thought he played okay in the Hall of Fame game, but this game he was really good. 14 of 20, 70%, 123 yards, a touchdown. Your guy Tim Boyle rebounded from a crappy Hall of Fame game. Comes back 9 of 10, 90%, 84 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. So good job, the Jets quarterbacks in this one.
Yeah, I think with Wilson, you can just kind of see a little bit of the confidence coming back. I think you saw that a little bit in Hard Knocks. I think you're seeing it kind of translate to the field. I think that comes with just kind of the pressure being off, where it's clear that Rodgers is QB1. Now he's just kind of in the learning role. And we'll see if he can just kind of continue to grow from that.
Yeah. Shameless Hard Knocks episode 2 plug tonight. The Jets, again, bro, my guy, rookie running back Israel Abanikanda out of Pitt, having himself a game for the second straight week. 12 carries, 56 yards, 3 catches, 31 yards. Didn't score in this one, but again, 15 touches, 87 yards. I love it. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
unfortunately now Dalvin Cook's in New York, so
Right.
he doesn't even have a chance. They're already 3 deep with him, Brees Hall, and Michael Carter.
Unless he beats out Carter, which I don't know.
Well, if they keep 4, he might have a chance. But I forget, they had another person there.
Zonovan Knight.
Yeah, Zonovan Knight. Yeah. So unless they keep 4, that's his only chance. But I am not so sure. Like, I'm not sure that the Jets would get him back if they waived him at cutdowns.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So that's a risk that they got to see if they want to take. For the leading receiver in this one, Panthers wide receiver Derek Wright, 3 catches, 35 yards on 3 targets. And then the tight end parade for New York. Kenny Yeboah, Zach Kuntz, the rookie 7th rounder, I believe, out of Old Dominion. And then E.J. Jenkins, all catching touchdowns in this one for New York. And defensively, I'm going to go with the rookie. Defensive end, Will McDonald, the 4th for the Jets. 1 tackle. It was a solo, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, 2 QB hits. Pretty good game for the Iowa State Cyclone.
By all accounts, he's had a really good offseason, and, the Jets could have a really, really special front.
Yeah, I just don't. They don't need to come to Carolina anymore. It's fine. Jets +3. They went outright under 35. The Jags getting the win 28-23 in Dallas. Trevor Lawrence coming in. Threw a pick on his second play of the game, rebounded next drive. They come back, drive down the field, score a touchdown to none other than Calvin Ridley. But Lawrence there, 5 of 6, 83.3%, 36 yards, touchdown, and a pick. After him, it was CJ Beathard, 6 of 13, 46.2%, 80 yards, and a rushing touchdown. And then the man, the CFL guy, Nathan Rourke, play of the weekend, maybe. 9 of 17, 52.9%, 153 yards, a touchdown, 6 carries, 20 yards, touchdown, and a fumble. But yeah, it was something special by Nathan Rourke.
Yeah, this is why I love preseason, man. Like, I didn't even know the CJ Beathard train was still rolling. Like, I didn't know he was still running around. So yeah.
Yeah, and how about we get to this play? By Nathan Rourke here.
That's right. I did see this. Yep.
Rourke.
No, wait, hold on. We'll get this.
Rourke. Swung. Stays on his feet somehow. Will have a chance to get it away, and he completes it for a touchdown. Olesen worked free, but Rourke.
And the craziest thing was he throw it.
Or this your opportunity.
To Quadri Olesen. Who else? But yeah, that was just crazy. But Nathan Rourke, man, he CFL legend, trying to make a play in the NFL. So we'll see how the rest of his preseason goes. And for Dallas, no Dak, so Cooper Rush getting the start, 10 of 12, 83.3%, 83 yards. And Will Greer after that, 22 of 31, 71%, 199, 2 touchdowns and a pick, 1 carry for 14 yards. Doesn't feel like there's a clear winner right now for QB2. But I would probably go with Cooper at this point. He's the more experienced guy, has actually started a game. So I don't know, though. Rookie out of Auburn, running back Tank Bigsby led the game in rushing, 9 carries, 52 yards. You had the I won't call him the small man because he's I could. He's an inch shorter than me. So Deuce Vaughn, K-State rookie, getting a touchdown, 8 carries, 50 yards, a touchdown, 3 catches, 6 yards. I mean, with no Rojo Rojo's not playing right now, or he didn't in this one anyways, right? Suspended for the first 2 games anyways. I came into after the draft, and I looked at the Cowboys depth chart. I thought that Deuce Vaughn had a good shot at the RB2 spot anyways, and he played great in his first game, so why not?
Yeah, I saw a tweet where someone was kind of showing his highlights from this game, and the caption was, Deuce Vaughn might make this roster. And I'm like, might make this roster? Like, they drafted him, and he's been playing really well. Like, I expect him to make this roster, even though, he's, undersized. Like, look, man, like, some dudes can just run the ball. That's what's kind of interesting about the running back position is, like, sometimes you can just, like, watch a guy and you're like, this guy can, like, move the chains for you. Like, he just gets it. So yeah, he's super fun to watch, man. It's just, he's like a pinball. Like, he just makes all these jump cuts and everything and these spins. So I have to imagine he's a nightmare to tackle, just because it's kind of a small area window to try and get your arms around. So,
well, and it's the same thing. Obviously everyone's been comparing him to Darren Sproles from the draft to now,
right.
But it's the same thing. Players, the linebackers and they lose them in the hole. So behind the guys that are like 10 inches taller than
right, yeah.
or a foot taller in some instances. So, but I think I hate that he's on the Cowboys, but love the player, and I think he's gonna make the roster. Like I said, I think RB2, good shot at it. We'll see if Rojo plays this week or not, though. Cowboys wide receiver John Stevens Jr. led the game in receiving, 5 catches, 56 yards, touchdown on 7 targets. You had Jalen Tolbert, second-year guy out of South Alabama, scored a touchdown for the Cowboys on 2 targets. Mentioned Quadri Olesen caught that touchdown. He didn't have any carries in this one, but he caught the 21-yard touchdown on his only target from Nathan Rourke. And then Christian Kirk caught the touchdown from Trevor Lawrence on his 2 targets. They got the 2-point conversion attempt to Calvin Ridley. So that was another thing in this one was the Lawrence to Ridley connection looked really good. It was interesting, though. The majority of his catches were all out routes.
Yeah.
He didn't catch like anything in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
So I'm super hyped to have Calvin Ridley on my best ball teams for sure. Defensive player of the game, though, I'm going to go with Cowboys safety Wanye Thomas. One tackle. It was a solo, 2 pass deflections, and a pick, picking off Trevor Lawrence there. Jags -3.5. They covered over 37.5. Ravens winning 2019 in Baltimore for their 5,000th preseason win in a row. No, they've won 24 straight now. Haven't lost a preseason game since 2015. So
That is actually absurd.
I was so pissed, bro. I thought the Eagles had it. I thought Tanner McKee was rolling along. And then I live bet the under, right? And I was like, okay, it's 20-13. The offense for the Eagles hasn't looked anything in the second half. I'm going to roll with the under 37.5 live. And then freaking Anthony Brown, man. just staring the receiver down. And of course, one of the guys I loved that the Eagles got in undrafted free agency, Eli Ricks, pick 6 city. And I was like, please, someone tackle it. And that because it didn't even matter then because the Eagles missed the 2-point conversion. So it's like, come on, bro. You got it for nothing. You lost me a bet and you didn't win the game. So, but anyways, we'll start off with the Ravens here. No Lamar Jackson. So Tyler Huntley got the start, played very well. 8 of 11, 70. Or no, Josh Johnson. Josh Johnson got the start. My bad. I forgot. 8 of 12, 66.7%, 45 yards, a touchdown. But Tyler Huntley came in after and looked a whole lot better than Josh Johnson did. 8 of 11 for Huntley, 72.7%, 88 yards, a touchdown, 2 carries for 13 yards. And then, like I mentioned, Anthony Brown at the end of the game, 3 of 8, 37.5%, 7 yards a pick, 4 carries, 15 yards. So that's another team that has a big battle for the backup QB spot. And definitely Huntley has to have the lead after this performance. And then for Philly, Marcus Mariota got the start. No Jalen Hurts in this one. 7 of 11, 63.6%, 58 yards, 4 carries, 29 yards. I was very happy. Marcus Mariota, the starting offense in this one, looked really good with DeAndre Swift and Rashad Penny. And they didn't – I can't remember – they didn't have – I know A.J. Brown didn't play. I don't recall Devontae Smith playing. I don't think they had any of the starters in skill position-wise. So, yeah, but it was pretty solid, though, from Mariota in his first action as an Eagle. Tanner McKee was the next guy in, and I liked it. Not a great stat line anyways, 10 of 20, 50%, 148 yards. But I thought McKee, especially in the first half, because he played into the second half, I thought Tanner McKee as a 6th-round rookie out of Stanford looked pretty good for what it was worth. Just the second half, the Ravens defense made some adjustments. Lesser offensive line play as well plagued him in the second half too. So, but I was impressed by McKee. And then Ian Book at the end really didn't get a lot of time and wasn't very good when he did play, though. 1 of 4, 25%, 11 yards, 5 carries, 24 yards. That was the biggest thing with Book. His legs were the biggest part of his night. He scrambled a lot and actually had some decent gains. So, but yeah, I was impressed by Mariota and McKee, though, definitely for the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested in continuing to watch McKee because I know a lot of draft nicks liked him, and I know they were surprised that he kind of fell to the 6th. Yeah.
And for the Ravens, running back Justice Hill led the game in rushing, 3 carries, 48 yards. Pretty solid day for him. I loved watching Rashad Penny in this one. 9 carries, 34 yards to lead the Eagles in rushing. I thought he did very well. Had a couple long gains. Swift played well as also just didn't really, get a lot of touches in this one. One thing I noticed though in this game, and I guess it was kind of the same last year too, not throwing to the running backs. Not a lot of running back reception opportunities. So something to keep in mind. I traded for Rashad Penny this offseason in my dynasty league. But, we'll see. And then Trey Sermon also in the Eagles running back rotation, scoring a touchdown in this game. Eagles wide receiver Tyree Cleveland led the game in receiving, 5 catches, 68 yards on 10 targets. I was really impressed by him. Really impressed by Greg Ward as well. In the Eagles receiving core. Those two guys had the best 2 games of all the Eagles receivers. I didn't really notice anyone in terms of Ravens receivers. Sean Ryan there led the game in receiving for them, the undrafted rookie out of UCLA. And then Tylan Wallace, Devin Duvernay, they both caught touchdowns from Tyler Huntley and Josh Johnson. Defensively, have to go with the guy I mentioned earlier. Eagles undrafted rookie corner Eli Ricks out of Alabama. His 1 tackle was a solo, 2 pass deflections, 31-yard pick 6. That crushed my dreams of hitting the under, the live under. Or no, it was 37.5. I think it was. I had, The Eagles +6 though they did cover over 35. Battle for LA here. The Chargers crushing the Rams 34-17. Also had wagers on this one, of course, on the Rams. Especially the second half. The second half spread for the Rams really pissed me off. -2.5 second half spread. I was like, this is good. I think Stetson's gonna win it for me. And then we had it. We were up by 3 in the second half score. It was 17-14 second half wise. And then this freaking guy, Elijah Dotson, comes out of nowhere and runs a 42-yard touchdown or whatever it was. And I was like, bro. And then, of course, the Rams don't get anywhere on their next drive and punt the ball in the fourth quarter, losing by 17. I'm like, bro, Sean, just go for it. What do you have to lose? You're already down. Scores. So, anyways. But yeah, so for the Rams, actually, no, we'll start with the Chargers, I guess. Easton Stick got the start, 14-21, 66.7%, 109 yards, touchdown, 2 carries, 12 yards. Pretty good night for Stick. Brett, and then after him, he played most of the game until Max Duggan came in at the end. 2 of 3, 66.7%, 19 yards, 4 carries, 20 yards for the what was he, 6th rounder?
Yeah, I believe so.
7th round out of TCU there. So yeah, Easton Sticks. He's got that backup spot locked up. For the Rams, though, it was Stetson Bennett getting the start, I believe. 17 of 29, 58.6%, 191 yards, 1 touchdown. And, I wasn't shocked. Stetson played excellent, like I thought he would. Probably could have scored more, had some better scoring drives, but his touchdown throw was a laser. And oh no, Brett Rippon did get the start. Just didn't get a lot of run. 3 of 6, 50%, 11 yards for Rippon. Not very good. Stetson's got a great opportunity to win the backup job. And with his performance, I mean, even though they didn't win the game and only scored 10 points in his drives, I think it's a great first game for him.
Yeah, I think he's somebody that if I'm building a team, like Stetson Bennett's the type of guy that I want being my QB2. Just like a really good personality for the team, I feel like, and a guy who just kind of is a gamer who can make some plays, win you some games, hopefully, while your QB1 is out. Yeah, I mean, I like his chances of locking up that spot.
You know what, though? The kind of crazy thing about Stetson is, and this just popped into my mind, he's so comparable to Baker Mayfield like they had last year late in the season. He's a shorter guy. He's fiery. Probably not as much as Baker, but he's got swagger. And, when he's on, he's on. So, yeah. Although Baker didn't win 2 national championships. But anyways. And it was also funny that these two teams played each other the first week with Bennett against Duggan. Again, even though Duggan didn't play that much. And like I mentioned, though, the Chargers running back Elijah Dotson, comparable game to Emmanuel Wilson for the Packers. Dotson, excellent week 1 game here, 6 carries, 92 yards. 2 touchdowns on the ground also. So 2 long touchdowns also. I think both were from 30 plus out. I can't remember, but I know that the last one was like 42 though. Rams running back Royce Freeman, kind of like Jason Huntley with the Colts, literally just signed and he scores a touchdown in his first preseason action with LA. And how about former 5th rounder for the Bucs, wide receiver Tyler Johnson? Didn't even know he was on the Rams, but good game nonetheless. 5 catches, 70 yards on 7 targets. You had the rookie 5th rounder Puka Nacua, or Nakua. I don't know which one it is. I heard it both ways. I like Nacua better.
Choose your own adventure.
Whatever. Rookie out of BYU, 3 catches, 32 yards, touchdown on 5 targets. He was really one of the bright spots of this game. And from what I heard, like, he's got a good chance at having a role in this roster, 4th, 5th wide receiver spot. So Van Jefferson talked well about him. On the other side, the 2 rookies, wide receivers for the Chargers, Darius Davis, 5th rounder out of TCU, 2 catches, 21 yards on 2 targets, 81-yard punt return touchdown. That's what he does. That's what he was drafted for, was special teams. And to help them in the return game, did it in this one. And then the 1st rounder, Quentin Johnston, 3 catches, 10 yards, touchdown on 6 targets. So scoring in his first preseason action. Defensively, got to go with Rams linebacker Khair Thomas. 5 tackles, 3 solos, 1.5 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 2 QB hits. It was funny, dude, listening to the Rams broadcast of this game. Because it was, I think, Andrew Siciliano and Andrew Whitworth. And they were just like, how many times can we say young or rookie, young guy or rookie for the Rams?
Yeah.
They have like 40 rookies on their roster.
Yeah. That's the flip side of the all-in approach. Is now you're in the it's no longer F them picks, it's how many young guys can we get in here?
Yeah. The Chargers plus 2.5, they win outright over 34. And then Sunday, we had 2 games. The Saints 26-24 win in the Superdome. Both starters played in this one. Let's start with New Orleans, where Derek Carr looked stellar. 6 of 8, 75%, 70 yards, touchdown on his lone drive there. Jameis Winston then for New Orleans, 11 of 13, 84.6%, 92 yards, touchdown. Also pretty solid. 2 carries, 14 yards. And then my guy, I love Jake Haener, man. 4th rounder out of Fresno State, 10 of 17, 58.8%, 105 yards, touchdown and a pick. So for New Orleans, I mean, it's as the Jets have in their facility, all gas, no brakes. I mean, the quarterback play was very good in this one.
Yeah, top to bottom, the Saints have one of the better QB rooms in the league, so.
Yeah, and like I said on our NFC South preview, man, I think this Saints team could do some damage, and that's why I have them winning the South. I think they have definitely the best quarterback in the division, and overall, probably the best roster in the division as well. They just got to work out their kinks with some of their younger guys at the DT position, like we talked about during the draft. But let's go to the Super Bowl champs Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes also just 1 drive, 2 of 2, 15 yards. And then he had a 5-yard scramble as well. Blaine Gabbert then came in for him, 4 of 8, 50%, 59 yards, touchdown. After him, it was Shane Buechele, 11 of 18, 61.1%, 155 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. And then former Steelers 7th-round pick Chris Oladokun, 5 of 12, 41.7%, 52 yards and a pick, 1 carry, 30 yards. Again, the Chiefs scored a touchdown, I believe, on Mahomes' only drive as well. So, business as usual right there. Gabbert, though, I was kind of surprised he struggled a little bit. Just 50% completion. But, it's okay, I guess. Saints newcomer running back Jamal Williams led the game in rushing outside of Oladokun there with his 30-yard rush. 9 carries, 28 yards for Williams. Ellis Merriweather caught the game-winning touchdown from Jake Haener, that was also another cool thing in this game. Jake Haener led the Saints to a comeback win and threw the game-winning touchdown to the undrafted Merriweather there. You had Haener's teammate, Nico Remigio, 4 catches, 71 yards, 6 targets for the Chiefs, led the game in receiving, undrafted out of Fresno State. My God, I love A.T. Perry, dude. 6th round out of Wake Forest for New Orleans, 6 catches, 70 yards, touchdown on 6 targets. Super hyped. I drafted him in Dynasty this year. He's sitting on my taxi squad right now, but I think he can win a spot and latch on 4th, 5th wide receiver spot for New Orleans. They got a lot of depth there, but
yeah. Yep, and I think, it's because I think he's a different type of player than they kind of have on the roster, kind of that big body, big catch radius kind of guy.
mm-hmm.
And I think they're going to need depth. I think they're going to need some guys to step up in that wide receiver room. There's a big question mark around Michael Thomas staying healthy and Michael Thomas returning to form. So, yeah, I think he has a really good opportunity to continue to grow in New Orleans.
Yeah, that was one of the things. Michael Thomas didn't play a lot in this game, but came out of it healthy, caught a ball. So good thing for him. The newcomer Richie James caught a touchdown coming over from the Giants this offseason. 2nd-year guy Justin Ross caught a touchdown as well. I know a lot of people like him in Kansas City coming back from the neck fusion surgery, spinal fusion, whatever it was. Chiefs wide receiver Kakoa Crawford also catching a touchdown, and then Keith Kirkwood, 1 yard or 1 4-yard touchdown on his only target from Derek Carr. That was the interesting part. The guy that caught the touchdown for Derek Carr wasn't Michael Thomas, wasn't Chris Olave, wasn't Jawan Johnson, Keith Kirkwood of all people. But here, there you go. And defensively, I'm going to go with Saints safety Ugo Amadi, 2 tackles, both of them solos, 2 pass deflections, and a pick as my defensive player of the game. Guy that's been traded a couple times in his career. But the Saints cover is a pick'em game over 39. And finally, the Raiders blowing out the Niners in Vegas, 34-7. For Vegas, no Jimmy G, still rehabbing that foot. But Aiden O'Connell got the start, 4th rounder out of Purdue. And he looked absolutely fantastic. 15 of 18, 83.3%, 141 yards, touchdown. And you know what, Logan? Another old rookie quarterback. He's 24, I believe. So,
yep.
Hey, man, just another guy. And then after him, it was Chase Garbers, 3 of 5, 60%, 11 yards, and a touchdown. But, dude, O'Connell, man, he total command of this offense and didn't even look close to being a rookie.
Yeah, I saw someone tweet out a joke that Kyle Shanahan was going to offer a war chest for Aiden O'Connell after the game because the QB situation in San Fran is just still such an interesting question mark.
Yeah, and that's why I took the Niners spread in this one because I thought, I didn't really know the QB depth behind Jimmy G, but I knew for San Fran that they had Trey Lance, Sam Darnold. So I was like, well, I think the QBs kind of, are in favor of San Francisco. Wasn't the case at all. I didn't see O'Connell's performance coming. But Trey Lance looked like crap, man. His line isn't bad. 10 of 15, 66.7%, 112 yards and touchdown. But it looked not very good. Like he was scrambling all over, holding the ball too long, and not seeing. I mean, the touchdown was so lucky. A dropped interception that got tipped into the hands of Ross Dwelly. So yeah, they're in a world of hurt right now, backup wise, behind Purdy.
Yeah, my thing with Lance is I think the 49ers just need to sit and wait and just continue to try to develop him and hope that over the course of this season, going into next season, maybe some things click for him. Because, I mean, right now I don't think you can flip him for much. And I think it's more valuable to you to just continue trying to develop him to see if he can turn into that guy you traded 3 firsts for. But yeah, I mean, it does feel like just right now, like he's just not ready to get out there.
Yeah, and I mean the issue is like, bro, this is year 3. Like, that's the year that it's supposed to start going, right? And he's been injured, obviously, the first 2 years, but injury you can only use that injury card so much. Because if you're not, the thing is he would be good right now, and from what I'm seeing is that, okay, you were injured, but what good quarterbacks do and what great ones do, even if they're injured and they can't physically practice, you're in the film, you're in, the playbook, you're watching, you're always collecting information. And it doesn't seem like Trey Lance was doing that when he was injured. At least that's what it seems like to me at this point.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of feel bad because apart from maybe what's going on behind the scenes and maybe not taking enough preparation, like you were kind of saying, is that what we do know is that a lot of what's kept him from the field was completely out of his hands. Obviously, the terrible injury he suffered when he was supposed to take over, sitting the first year behind Jimmy G. I mean, that was kind of, coach's decision for a competing team that, had already kind of rallied around Jimmy. And then going back to, the COVID year that he lost in his final season at North Dakota State. So it's been a hot minute since he's really gotten a lot of a lot of starting games and played in games that actually matter. And it shows.
Yeah, for sure. The other two quarterbacks, though, Sam Darnold, decent day, 5 of 8, 62.5%, 84 yards. And then Brandon Allen there, 5 of 8, 62.5%, 36 yards and a pick. So that's been the inkling right now in San Fran, though, is like, oh, will Darnold be the guy that takes this backup job? And I have to say, after the first game, I would pick Sam Darnold right now, definitely, over Trey Lance. So we'll see. How about the Georgia Bulldogs? Second-year running back Zamir White leading the game in rushing, 13 carries, 43 yards, and a touchdown. Was excited about that. He's also on my taxi squad in Dynasty, so hyped about that one. And then a guy I love, rookie running back Sincere McCormick, UTSA Roadrunner there, 9 carries, 27 yards, touchdown, 1 catch for 2 yards, and a receiving touchdown for the Raiders rookie running back there. Raiders tight end Cole Fotheringham led the game in receiving, 5 catches, 71 yards on 5 targets. No clue who that kid was before this game, so good for him, though.
Yeah, that's an awesome football name, though, right there.
And then the 5th round rookie wide receiver. Look at that! I put Michigan.
I noticed that. I wasn't going to point out unless you did. I was like, that's funny.
That's where he went to school, people.
Yeah.
But he plays for the Niners. 3 catches, 58 yards on 6 targets. And then Keelan Cole Sr. for the Raiders caught a touchdown. I mentioned tight end Ross Dwelly catching that deflected touchdown as well for the Niners' only score. And defensively, going to go with the rookie linebacker Amari Burney out of Florida for the Raiders. 4 tackles, 3 solos, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, pass deflection, QB hit. Raiders, I was shocked. They literally flipped the script on the 49ers. The Raiders were the team that had the really solid pass rush in this one. That's something they've needed. They've been trying to find help for Max Crosby, and they got a bunch of production in this game from the D-line and the linebackers. So good thing for Josh McDaniels' crew. One bad thing for Kyle Shanahan, another bad thing, I should say. Kicker Jake Moody did not look good. 0 for 2 on field goals, did hit his only extra point attempt, but both of his field goals went wide right. So not a great start for the 5th round rookie out of Michigan.
All right, broski, I got to hop off.
All right, man.
Have a good one, bro.
Appreciate it. Okay, that is the games for preseason week 1. Let's move into news here. USFL news. We had another trade in the USFL. The Sea Dragons trading wide receiver Jordan Vesey to the San Antonio Brahmas for defensive back Jack Corner. I think that's a very even trade. Corner, excellent safety there for San Antonio, and Vesey, he was the 3rd, 4th wide receiver last year for Seattle, but maybe could have been counted on in a more expanded role this year. Brahmas definitely needed some help at the receiving position, so we'll see how that one works out next season. The Stallions re-signing two-time USFL champ quarterback Jamar Smith. Led them to their first USFL championship in 2021, and then got injured this year, but stayed on the roster for second championship. So Coach Holtz and company happy to get their quarterback back, as Alex Magoo, the USFL MVP this year, is in training camp with the Packers. The Breakers also getting some good news. They running back Cyrus Habibi Likio, he has opted to return to New Orleans for his second year in the USFL. College football news: the NCAA Committee on Infractions did not approve the negotiated 4-game suspension of Michigan head coach Jim Harbaugh. Not really sure what that means going forward. I took it as a bad thing for Harbaugh, but other people are taking it as a good thing in the fact that he's going to be able to coach and that maybe he won't get suspended at all this year. But I'm not so sure that that doesn't mean he doesn't get a longer suspension whenever that comes down. That's the biggest issue, is now that it's been disapproved, when is the final ruling going to come? So we'll stay tuned for that one. And the other thing in college football news, the preseason AP poll is out. Super hyped. That just means we are getting closer to college football next weekend, y'all. August 26th is the first game, I believe. So the top 25, though, for preseason AP poll: Georgia, 2-time back-to-back national champions. Of course, the Dogs are at number 1. Michigan is at number 2. Ohio State, 3. Michigan getting 2 first-place votes. Ohio State, 1. Alabama, 4. LSU, 5. USC, 6. Penn State, number 7. Good, solid start to the rankings there for the Nittany Lions. Florida State, 8. Clemson, 9. Washington, 10. Texas, 11. Tennessee, 12. Notre Dame, 13. Way too high for me for them. Utah, 14. Oregon, 15. Kansas State, 16. TCU, 17. Oregon State, 18. Wisconsin, 19. I think that's a good start for the Badgers. Like I said, I think they're going to have a great season under Luke Fickell there. Oklahoma, 20. UNC, 21. Ole Miss, 22. Texas A&M, 23. Again, I don't think A&M is going to finish ranked this year. Tulane, 24. First time in their program history they've been in the preseason poll. And then Iowa, 25. That was kind of a shock for me. I do think Iowa is going to be a lot better this year offensively, but they got to prove it early in the season. NFL news, very shocking and sad news yesterday that came down. Former Seahawks, Ravens, and Memphis Showboats running back Alex Collins passed away after a motorcycle accident. I believe that accident occurred on Sunday. Passed away yesterday, though. So all prayers with the Collins family, Seahawks Nation, Ravens Nation, and of course the Memphis Showboats Nation, where he played just this past spring. As Logan mentioned, Colts have named number 4 overall pick Anthony Richardson as the starter for Week 1. Kind of early, I thought, to name him, but we already had that conversation earlier. Pup list, guys getting activated. Ravens activating running back J.K. Dobbins, so great news for Baltimore there and for my fantasy team as well. Jets, they activated running back Breece Hall. Seahawks activating linebacker Jordan Brooks, so all great news for those 3 guys. Not so good news for a couple guys whose seasons are over going into the injury segment here. Browns linebacker Jacob Phillips. Feel so bad. He missed last season with most of last season with a pec injury. He tore his pec again this year, is out for the season. Just tough, man. 2 years in a row, same injury. Eagles linebacker Sean Bradley, he tore his Achilles. He is out for the season as well. Saints rookie running back Kendre Miller, he suffered a knee sprain. Not sure how long he's going to be out. Probably, or the expectation is probably going to be out the rest of the preseason and hopefully be back for week 1. Really distraught about that one because thought he had a good shot with Alvin Kamara missing the first 3 games to grab a real role in this offense as a 3rd rounder there. The Cardinals got some good news. Tight end Zach Ertz coming off the torn ACL from last year. He has been cleared for full activity, is on track to play week 1. So whoever the quarterback is will have their starting tight end out there. Panthers wide receiver Terrace Marshall, he was carted off yesterday. Haven't heard any updates about Marshall's injury, but not very great. Was expected to compete with Jonathan Mingo, the rookie out of Ole Miss, for that wide receiver 3 spot this year. Patriots tight end Mike Gesicki, he suffered a mild dislocated shoulder. Hopes to be back for week 1, though, even with the AC joint injury. Couple releases. The Saints, they released wide receiver James Washington. Again, very great depth in New Orleans, the receiver position. So just not enough room for Washington right now. And the Broncos, they released kicker Elliott Fry. So this leaves Brett Maher, the only kicker on the roster. Missed both of his field goal opportunities in the loss to the Cardinals this past weekend. So we'll see if Denver looks elsewhere to try to get some more competition at kicker. Patriots, they signed linebacker Raekwon Millen to a 1-year, $2.245 million extension. Yeah, it's a small cha-ching, but McMillan deserves it. Second time, he's currently out for the season, but second time the Patriots have extended him despite him being on IR. How about the Cowboys finally getting their guard back, reaching a reworked deal with guard Zach Martin to increase his salary for 23 and 24 to $18 million season. Definitely a cha-ching for that one. Big money there. Increases his salary in 23 from $13.5 million, $14 million in 24 to $18 million each year, fully guaranteed there. So about $8.5 million in new money. The Jets finally have signed Vikings running back Dalvin Cook to a 1-year, $8.6 million max value deal. And it's again interesting situation. They have Dalvin Cook, Breece Hall, Michael Carter, and like I said, my guy, Israel Abanikanda, love him. But just a loaded backfield in New York, and I am not touching that backfield in fantasy. Interesting also with Dalvin, he's not going to be in New York for a little bit, for probably a week and a half still. He's about to be a new dad. His wife's about to give birth any day now. And also he had another also still rehabbing his shoulder from shoulder surgery. So we'll see when he actually joins New York. The Patriots, they also signed a veteran running back. Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott signing in New England for 1 year, $6 million max value. He is expected to fly to New England to sign his deal and then fly to Green Bay to join the team for joint practices, which I will be going to in Green Bay tomorrow and Thursday. The Colts, they signed Brown safety Ronnie Harrison to a 1-year deal, so needed depth in the secondary for Indy. Raiders, they signed Chiefs running back Darwin Thompson, second former Chief running back they've signed in the last week, signing Damian Williams and now Darwin Thompson there. The Dolphins, they signed Saints wide receiver Kiki QT to get some help in training camp depth. Some visits and workouts. The Vikings, they hosted Browns running back Kareem Hunt for a visit, so still waiting to see where Hunt lands this season. The Jags, they hosted Browns defensive end Jadeveon Clowney for a visit. Visited with the Ravens earlier last week. Now with the Jags there, again, waiting on to see where Clowney lands. And then the Titans, they worked out Broncos corner Ronald Darby. So Titans definitely a team needing some quality secondary depth, and possibly Darby fits the bill there. XFL to NFL, the Texans, they signed Renegades wide receiver Victor Bolden. Patriots signed Battlehawks linebacker Carson Wells. Steelers signed Battlehawks defensive back Lavert Hill. Titans signed Brahmas running back Jaquez Patrick. And the Bears, they hosted Sea Dragons defensive back Antoine Brooks and Battlehawks linebacker Willie Harvey. Vikings hosting Sea Dragons linebacker CJ Hicks. And the Lions hosting Battlehawks offensive lineman Mike Penisuk there. USFL to NFL here. The Patriots, they signed Stallions running back CJ Marable. Falcons signed Panthers linebacker Frank Ginda. Texans signed Panthers quarterback E.J. Perry. And the Steelers signed Breakers corner Neville Clark, first Breaker to sign this season. The Chargers, they signed Gamblers running back Aaron Shamplin. And the Raiders signed Gamblers wide receiver Isaiah Zuber. And the Texans, they worked out Breakers wide receiver Jonathan Adams and running back Wes Hills, and Stars linebacker Joel Dublanco. Cardinals worked out Showboat safety Kyrie Woods. Ravens worked out Panther safety Corian Ballard. And the Bears worked out Gambler safety Manny Bunch. That is it for the news. I don't see... Well, we had some more tryouts here for the XFL. Let's just see what other tryouts guys got. Never mind. But let's talk about the one game we have going on tomorrow, Thursday night here for preseason week 2 opener. The Browns 1-1 coming into Philadelphia to host to play the 0-1 Eagles. Eagles favored by 3.5 points here. I kind of like that, but we'll see. I might go first half spread instead. And total is 37.5. I am leaning toward the over in that one, but that's just a lean, not an exact play, though. 7:30 p.m. on NFL Network. Really what we're looking for in this one, I haven't heard about who's going to play and whatnot, but I would assume Deshaun Watson plays again, gets more run with the starters. Definitely you want to see him play a lot better, even though he was perfect last game. Not a lot of yards, and they didn't score on his lone drive. But you want to see them play better for Cleveland fans. For Eagles fans, hopefully we get to see the first-team offense with Jalen Hurts and company for the first time this preseason. And, of course, definitely want to see them continue to play well from last year to this year. And in terms of backups, you're looking at the backup quarterback position for both teams. I think DTR should get an opportunity to come in and play with the second team over Josh Dobbs, possibly even. We'll see when he plays, though, in that game. And then Tanner McKee, can he continue to have a good week after a pretty decent week 1 in his rookie year? Marcus Mariota, can he build off the momentum that they had in that first quarter against the Ravens? And then defensively, if we see the starters for Philadelphia, looking at the secondary and the middle of the defense, really, the new linebackers, Nakobe Dean and company, and the safeties, Terrell Edmonds, Reed Blankenship, and Jalen Carter. Will he continue his play from last week? Had some good pressures there. So that is what I'm looking for in that game. Again, 7:30 NFL Network on a Thursday night. And that is the show for today, y'all. Thank y'all for watching. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media on X at FAA Podcast, at FAA_bets as well, and Instagram at FAA Podcast. FAApodcast.com is our website. You can check us out here on Facebook, YouTube, and X, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, etc. We'll be back next Tuesday. Later, though, we'll be on an hour later, hour-ish, between 6 and 6:15 p.m. Eastern will be our weekly Tuesday shows during the season and the fall here. We'll be back next Tuesday talking preseason week 3. We'll have all your preseason week 2 game recaps and Thursday game previews for week 3, as there are 2 Thursday night games in preseason week 3. Of course, we'll be back on Football Friday, also breaking down the Eagles game and previewing the week 2 slate. Thank y'all for watching, and we will see y'all back on Football Friday.